All right. So today we're doing the transformations of cubic functions and cube roots. Okay. So we're going to talk about a cubic function first. All right. So cubic function. Okay. I'm going to write this down. You can copy it. So to cube something, means to raise it to the third power. Okay? Cubic function. To cube something means to raise it to the third power. Okay? All right. So for example, okay, so if I have example A, all right, if I said 2 to the third power, all that means is 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 2 times 2 is 4 times 2 gives you 8. So 2 to the third power is doing 2 times 2 times 2, which equals 8. Okay, example B, say I have negative 1 to the third power. Okay, this would be negative 1 and negative 1 times negative 1. Okay, so you have negative 1 times negative 1 is 1 times negative 1 gives you back to negative 1. Okay, and then we got example C. Let's just say 5 to the third power. That'll just be 5 times 5 times 5. It gives you 125. Okay. In this corner over here, talk about the parent function. So parent function is just y equals x to the third. Okay, that's your parent function. Okay, and it just looks like this. So I'm going to draw it. Okay, the line goes through 0, 0. So at this point, that's where it goes through. It'll be just like this. So like that, and like this. Okay, so your parent function looks like that. That's probably not the best drawing, but what it looks like, okay? Now we're talking about the domain and the range of the graph of the function, okay? And it's all real numbers, so it's just negative infinity to infinity, and the range is also negative infinity to infinity, okay? those are like the basic rules of this, of a cubic function. Okay, now we're going to talk about the transformations of a cubic function. Okay, so again, I'm going to write it big right here. All right, so I'm going to write y equals negative a, just copy it down. So okay, this equation, all right, is just, there's different components of a transformation. Okay, it's not always going to look like this. Okay, remember the parent function is just x to the third. Oh, I messed this up right here. Make sure you write the third to the third right here. Okay, so you should read y equals negative a times x minus h to the third plus k. All right, I'm going to tell you all the different components of it. Okay, so right here, the negative sign, if there was a negative in front of the x, okay, it is going to reflect across the x-axis. Okay, so if it's a negative in front of the x, it's going to reflect across the x-axis. All right. The a, okay, if there is a whole number, okay, which could be the a in front of the x, that means it is a vertical dilation. Vertical dilation. Okay. If a is greater than 1, then it is a stretch. If a is between 0 and 1, then it is compressed. Okay, so that's for a. Right, so we talked about the negative, we talked about the a. Okay, now we're going to talk about in the parentheses. In the parentheses, we're talking about a horizontal shift. Okay, it's a horizontal shift, right? So if it is x minus h, we're going to the right h units. So if it's x minus 3, that means you're moving to the right 3 times. Okay, this is the biggest part people get confused on, is inside the parentheses. Okay, and any transformation, you've been talking about last week on the square root transformations, anything inside the square root, it's opposite. Okay, so it's x minus h is going to the right 5 units. If it is x plus h, you're moving to the left h units. Okay, and then the last one, we're talking about the k. Talking about the k, which is just a vertical shift. Okay, just a vertical shift. Right? So this one is just normal. Okay, so if it says plus k, that means it's going up K units. If it's minus K, it's going down K units. Okay, and those are your rules for the transformation.